Hey, I'm writer and artist Laramie Taylor, and I'd like to take a moment to tell you a little bit about myself and about the project that I'm putting up here on Kickstarter. First of all, I apologize for getting this video up as late as I have. It's 6 days into the project, and I'd hoped to have it up sooner, but I'm working with what I have, which isn't very much, so I apologize for that and for the quality. The good news is that I've already met the initial funding goal that I set up, so I thank you all for that, and I want to let you know that I really do appreciate all of your contributions and your support so far. Now, a little bit about me. I was born with arthrogryposis, which is a birth defect that affects the arms and legs before birth, so basically I'm in a wheelchair, I can't use my hands very much, and I write and type and draw and pretty much do everything with my mouth. I've been doing that since birth. I'm 36 years old, married, my wife is disabled, and we live on Social Security, which, as some of you may know, is not very much. So we're pretty much barely above the poverty line. Even in the best of times, I would have a hard time finding a job because of my disability. And with the economy the way it is and the area of California that I'm in, it's just not going to happen. So basically my way out is my storytelling and my art, which is why I'm making this video and doing this project, and we're here today. The project that I have created, I'm hoping, is going to be an ongoing story. I'd like to pitch it to a number of creator-owned publishers, such as Image, IDW, Dark Horse, and hopefully get it picked up by one of them. But what I'm doing here on Kickstarter is, rather than just sending them 5 or 6 sample pages and hoping that they take it, I'm wanting to make an entire issue 1 finished and send it to them so that they can see it from start to finish. They can hold it in their hands. They can see that I'm able to completely do the project. I write it, I letter it, I draw it, I tone it, I do all of it from start to finish. And I want them to see that I have that professionalism, that I have that dedication, and that I can accomplish this. So that they know that they're getting someone that may not have any previous comic book publishing experience, but is skilled and knows what they're doing. And so that's why we're here, is I'm hoping to raise the funds to print issue 1. Everyone that pledges, even if you only pledge $1, you'll get a digital copy of the issue 1 that I do. The $5 or more, you'll get an actual printed copy mailed to your home for you to keep. And if this ends up getting picked up by a publisher, then it's going to be a fairly rare collector's item, because you will have issue 1 before there was an issue 1, before the series even existed. And if it takes off, then that's going to be even more rare. I have already reached the goal that I initially set out for the bare minimum of my printing costs, mailing costs. I have an editor that I'm paying because I do want to have someone outside the project looking in on it and giving me some input. I don't want to completely create it in a void or a vacuum and find out later that I messed something up or I could have done something better. So I do have an editor, Steve Forbes, who has worked on several comics, creator-owned and otherwise, and he is going to be editing my script for me and has already agreed to do so, so some of the funds will go towards that. But the minimum goal was just to get the basics done, and we've met that, and again, I thank you. So what I'm going to be doing now, since we've met the goal 6 days in, is I have some time. I'm going to set up some stretch goals to try to expand the project and make it better and improve the quality of what I'm doing. So right now, the first stretch goal that I've put up is for $2,000. The initial $1,500 was met. So for $2,000, instead of an 18-page first issue, it'll be a 24-page first issue. And I'd like to take a second here to tell you exactly what I mean by the difference between the page counts. What I'm shooting for is basically kind of a combination or a hybrid of 2 of my favorite books that Image put out. One of them is Fell, which was written by Warren Ellis and the art by Ben Templesmith. And it was a very dense, condensed 18-page comic where every page started out as a 9-panel grid, 3x3. Now, some pages were splash pages, some only had 5 panels or 6 panels. but every page started out as a 3x3 grid, and then they would combine panels or go from there. And what it did is it made for a really dense, compact story. You got a lot of story, a lot of content per page, because you were having 6, 7, 8, 9 panels per page, rather than your typical big books, which will have 4 panels, 5 panels, lots of big sweeping art and minimal story. So I'm going for that route. I'm going for a much more dense, condensed, compact story where it'll be 18 pages. The other book that is influencing me is The Walking Dead by Robert Kirkman and Charlie Adlard, and it's the black and white angle with toning that I'm going for. So I'm hoping that between the 18 page count and the black and white art, it'll be a very affordable, very compact, sleek little comic that will mean that it'll have a lower price point, people will be able to afford it, and hopefully that means that we'll have more sales because it's easier to buy. The first issue, I'm willing to go up to 24 pages, and those extra 6 pages will be bonus content that you will get. If it gets picked up by a publisher, those extra 6 pages will probably be moved over to the second issue, or maybe kept as a deleted scene to put into the trade for some extra content. I don't know. Maybe it'll never see print and you'll have a really rare first copy of the first issue. I haven't figured that out yet. We'll figure that out if and when it gets picked up by a publisher. But I am, like I said, willing to expand the project up to 24 pages for the first issue if I can meet the goal of 2,500, or I'm sorry, 2,000. 2,000, which is what I'm shooting for right now. If I can reach that goal, then I will come up with some more stretch goals. I will make the project bigger, or expand upon the quality of what I'm able to do, because this is very bare bones right now. I have only the equipment that I was donated, and my pen is falling apart. As you can imagine, if I draw with my mouth, I'm using an electric stylus in my mouth, which means that I wrap it up in little finger cots, which are kind of like little tiny gloves that you put on your fingers, and that's to help keep the moisture from my mouth out of the pen, and it only holds it off for so long. So my pens die on me every 3 to 6 months, and I'm on my last pen at the moment. So things like that, I'll be able to have a better setup, I'll be able to put in better quality, I'll be able to have more attention to detail, and it'll be a better project as a result. So thank you very much. I really appreciate you taking the time to consider this and to consider helping me out. I hope you like what you see below. There's a summary of the story and more on what I'm doing and the idea behind it, but I wanted this video to be about me and about the idea of what I'm trying to accomplish. So thank you very much, and I appreciate your time and consideration.